every interaction with No Fit Too Small happened because of the loss of a child. And I know your stories, and I know that it's not easy to do your job every day to be able to honor our parents who are willing to take their stories and turn them into purpose and into a way to help other people. That is just the most beautiful thing anybody could ever do.
Welcome back to the No Fit Too Small podcast. My name is Jackie Selsky. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at No Fit Too Small. And again, today I'm joined by the lovely Ali Maahs, Director of Family Support. Hi, Ali.
You're going to get sick of me, I think.
No, never. Actually, I'm really enjoying having guests on the couch. I think we should just make this a thing, co-host a thing.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a special episode, which is why I'm excited to have Ali here. Today is an early release because it is Rainbow Baby Day. And what that means, for those of you maybe who aren't familiar with that term, a rainbow baby is what we call a child born after a family has experienced pregnancy or infant loss. And so we have many families in our community who are going through this very unique journey or are trying to go through this journey. And so we thought we'd put a spotlight on this topic today and invite a really, really special partner of ours. They are actually sponsoring this episode, Owlette, and their Manager of Advocacy and Healthcare Marketing, Amanda Nelson, is with us today. So thank you, Amanda, for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's so weird seeing you not on a regular computer, but this way.
I know, on a big screen. It's fancy. Yeah. Do you want to tell us where you are located?
So I'm in Southern California. Owlet was founded in Utah, but we're now fully remote. So we're an international company. We are all over, but I'm in Southern California.
I was thinking this morning, we should have a bucket list of getting a guest from all 50 states if our goal is to raise awareness. So I'm going to make sure. Thanks for checking off California for us. Yeah. And maybe slightly Utah because of Owlet's home. But I think actually that's a great segue. If you don't mind, we can start there if you want to share a little bit about what Owlet is and what they do.
Yeah. So we are a digital health monitoring platform for babies. I could show you, I have the little sock here. So this is sort of our core product. It's this teeny cute little fabric sock, but it has a sensor in it that monitors babies' pulse rate and oxygen level when they're asleep. And really the intention is to provide parents with insights about babies. Welcoming a baby into the world is so challenging. I remember when we brought my son home from the hospital, I slept with the light on the first 3 nights. And my husband was like, nope, this is not happening. He's part of our family. You need to sleep, turn the lights off. And this was almost 7 years ago. I hadn't heard of Owlet. But I just remember those nerves being a first-time mom. And we just hear so much from parents that peace of mind having the sock on and babies asleep is just invaluable. But there's this other side to the business and what we do, and it's our mission to reach every parent and every baby. And what that means for us is making sure parents have access to it, making sure it's affordable. And a huge, huge part of that is working with parent groups. And that's my job. I have the best job at the company. We get to work with parent groups like yours. So through our Owlet Cares program, we have more than 40 nonprofit partners from around the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're in 4 different countries. All of them are parent-led, parent-founded. And at the core of finding these organizations was a loss or a challenge that a parent experienced in welcoming a medically complex child into the world or in losing a child. So all of these groups are dedicated in some way to improving the lives of parents and babies, and we really, really value working alongside them.
Was that a mission that started at the beginning with Owlet, or has that evolved over the years?
You know what? I'm not sure. I've been at the company for 4 years, but I can tell you if it was the intention when it was founded, it wouldn't surprise me. Our CEO and co-founder and the other co-founders are truly the kindest, most generous people I've ever met. Our co-founder and current CEO, he was newly married. He was a young college student thinking about having a family, and his wife had had a congenital heart defect as a child. So it got him thinking, what if this is genetic? What if this happens to our kids? So he and some college buddies started putting their engineering degrees to use and tweaking away at this and developing this sock. But all of them are so family focused, parent focused, really have a strong sense of community. And our CEO, Kurt, says all the time about specifically the Owlet Cares program. It's just the right thing to do. And it really is inherent in who we are. I think it makes our company really unique because it's so genuine from the top down. We really believe in that promise of every parent and every baby.
That's so true. I feel since I've met you, Amanda, and it's been years, I don't remember exactly the first time, but truly your genuineness, and I think us also just wanting to do the right thing. So aligning from the very beginning in just this genuine, authentic relationship to help serve the families we both do together and in meaningful ways. So I very much sense that trickle down in your organization.
That was actually going to be one of my questions is, how do you find the organizations that you partner with, and what is it that you look for that is part of that alignment, or what maybe was it about No Fit Too Small in particular that stood out to you?
Yeah, we don't go seeking these organizations. There's sort of some beauty in that because I think it lends itself to a strong partnership when these organizations find us. There's a specific need we can fill. But the flip side of that is, sadly, in many cases, it's a parent who's experienced the loss of a child and is craving a way to honor that child. So they have found us. And I can tell you in every case, the answer is yes. We'll figure out how to make it work. We will walk alongside you and help you honor your child. But I think it lends itself to sort of us being able to help our partner organizations in the way that's suited to them. There's no one model for the Owlet Cares program. We do have core things about the program that we extend to all of our partners, but No Fit Too Small, I think, has been a partner for 5 years, 6 years. And I feel like we've just in the last year or so found the best way to serve and support your community through a couple programs that we've developed really together. And I think really what's unique about this program is we take the time to get to know our partners, to get to know their needs, to get to know the needs of the communities they want to reach. And we develop the right type of partnership and program that works for you.
Yeah, that couldn't be more true. You were talking about 5-6 years ago, and I was pulling up some data on our side. And I think the first involvement actually with Owlet might be before both Amanda and I, but was really actually our annual gala, attending and sponsoring that event, I think in 2020. But I think to your point, Amanda, we've been really able to evolve this in meaningful ways through a lot of conversations, brainstorms, just really getting to know, again, both of our goals and then figuring out where it really aligns. And it's such a beautiful process, I would say, tweaking and changing and evolving that really the last few years in ways that just feel super meaningful to our organization and hopefully you as well.
Yeah, there's nobody in our organization who really understands our families better than you, Ali, which is why I wanted you here today, because I think you can really speak to Amanda's point, what it was that we identified as an organization that our community really needed and the gaps that Owlette really helped fill for us. And so I'd love for the two of you, it sounds like the relationship started before both of you, but once the two of you came, it's really taken off. So I'd love to maybe speak to the evolution of your relationship and the partnership that you two have built over the last few years.
Yeah, we can take all the credit right now, right? And I do think, Jackie did say it well, that this has truly been an area where Owlette has fulfilled a gap or a need, something we didn't really initially identify. And to be honest, something I was a little hesitant. And I'll explain why. And that's really this pregnancy after loss space. And it wasn't that I was hesitant that it didn't matter. I just really felt like we can't be everything to everybody all the time. Stay in our lane, let other organizations who are doing that do that well. And it just, over time, it was really clear to me that what we embody, everything No Foot Too Small is about community, right? Is uniting families and to be a part of the community. But then when you start to experience a pregnancy after loss, which the research says roughly 80% of families who experience a loss go on to try and have another child. So that's a big part of our population, a big part of our community. And during that time, they need something different, right? Hearing other losses in a mom's group can seem triggering. While they're still welcome to attend, it's often not exactly what they need. And so it really was identifying that this pregnancy after loss journey is so different, full of anxiety, and feeling quite isolated if you don't know somebody else who's been through that. All your friends and family are excited and you're inside terrified. And so it was really just identifying what can we do for that community. And I remember, I don't know the exact moment, I don't remember what you remember, Amanda, about this, but I remember saying to you, there is nothing I can offer this family going through that journey. I can't promise it's not going to happen again. I can only hold hope or space for them is really all I felt I could do, which felt just helpless. And I think that's kind of what started, for me at least, the Rainbow Baby Basket project that we have been going on 3 years, is just to, again, give them some hope, some peace of mind once baby comes home, some hopefully sleepful nights, was just, I think for me, the moment that it was like, there is something else we can do with Owlette's support and help. So that's how I remember it. I'm not sure how you do, but I'll let you share to that or speak to that.
No, I think you said it perfectly. There is such a need, even when you're welcoming a healthy baby into the world, for that peace of mind, that information, that support, that community. And when you're experiencing a pregnancy after loss, it is so complex. There's joy, but there's still grief. There's so much anxiety. And even when that beautiful baby is born and healthy, that anxiety doesn't go away. That want to protect your child, that want to protect your own heart from going through another loss, that doesn't go away. And I love that No Foot Too Small is willing to have those conversations, to hold space for moms who are like, I'm happy, but I'm sad, I'm torn. And it's so complex. And if you've never experienced that before, you don't know where to go. You don't know how to talk about it. And No Foot Too Small lets you say, I don't know what to say, but I'm here. And certainly when you welcome a new child into the world after having experienced loss, any peace of mind and community is so valuable. And we really, really see the value in that monitoring for parents, especially who have experienced loss.
Selfishly, it's one of my favorite parts of my job, right? We work in a very heavy space. That's no secret. But to also get to experience the joy, but also hold on to the understanding that I think in every card I write, we're celebrating this baby while still honoring their angel. We know this baby more than anybody doesn't replace the loss, but we're holding the joy that maybe you even can't right now, or the hope. I typically deliver them or surprise people in their 3rd trimester of pregnancy before the baby comes, so that they have it. They have all the items, they're prepared, and that even if during that time they're anxious and nervous, they know that we see the end and we're, hoping for the same outcome. And it's just, it never gets old delivering one of them or surprising a family with them. We've been doing this now for 3 years, and with Owlet support, been able to increase giving out more and more each year. And I think we've reached a total of 11 states. So we're now mailing them. So I don't get to do all of the surprises. But it's just neat to see time and time again, families, so grateful for not only the product, but, some things that are rainbow themed, for their baby. And to see those early pictures that they send us, with whether it's the hat or the blanket. And then them to say like that peace of mind and the product from Owlet really did help, especially in those early days. And so again, to give them a sense of peace or peace of mind is truly a gift. And so I think together we've been able to do that. And it's just neat to see. It never gets old, welcoming a rainbow baby and journeying alongside a family in that experience. So we are grateful for this partnership to support our families.
You said selfishly, it's one of your favorite parts of your job. Selfishly, it's one of my favorite parts of my job because I am the one who gets to share these stories publicly. Mm-hmm. And I will never forget when we updated the form on the website to allow any family to apply to be part of this. Because truly, what is so beautiful about this partnership, at least from my perspective, is the way we are reaching more families because we have come together and united in this shared mission. And it's something that Owlette wouldn't be able to do alone, and No Fit Too Small wouldn't be able to do at the scale alone. And it's only happening because of this partnership. And so when we launched that application, one of the first submissions we received was from a different country. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think we were like, oh, we're barely handling it here. First, we gotta start in the United States first. But to know that a family across the ocean was like, I need this, and just felt connected to us in that moment was so eye-opening for me to really, truly understand, yes, we are maybe hand delivering a couple of these a month, but the power in sharing those stories each time is spreading hope to more and more families. Yeah. And, I love that that's the word we keep using, because I do think we say at No Fit Too Small, we honor all loss, right? And I think pregnancy after loss is a loss in its own kind of unique way. Even if the result is a healthy birth and a healthy baby, you lose that experience that you deserve in those 9 months of getting to plan and dream of the future with your baby. And so I think while not maybe the exact same loss that we serve families directly on most of the time, it is its own type of loss. And so just to know how many families we're reaching and how at the rate at which we are reaching them because of this sweet little basket is just really special.
Yeah, I think I always say it robs you of any future pregnancy, right? And again, I still think we all have a choice sometimes to lean into the joy in those moments, but you can't undo the past. And so yes, any future pregnancy after loss does come with different challenges and battles, and to me, I felt that way. I'd been robbed of this blissful, joyful time. And so for sure, it's its own grief journey in itself. And to your point, I did get excited when we first launched the application. And every time we share, so we celebrate these, that's part of our mission, is to celebrate. Those are the first words. And so we celebrate angels and we celebrate these rainbows. And so we do share these, on our social media and on our website. And every time we share them, it then pushes back to the application, and they usually are reaching people we have not reached. I don't know the exact data, but I see them come in, and a lot of them have not attended another program. We do ask that. So we're getting that information to see that they haven't otherwise found us. So to your point, Jackie, it is the partnership that has furthered reach for them to know that we even exist. So not only the application for that, but maybe to get plugged into one of our other communities that they might not otherwise have known about. And I think, we kind of talked about the evolution of this journey. And one thing I'm really grateful to Amanda for was this past year. This was great. And it really opened my eyes to see that we had a need for a space for pregnancy after loss. So we run moms groups and men's social clubs in person and virtually. We even added some loss specific groups a couple years ago. And then it was this pregnancy after loss group. To your point, for a long time, I said, well, it's not a loss specific, but it's its own category. And we offered it twice the first year. And again, this is because of our bandwidth and our team of volunteers. But silly me, like if you're pregnant for 9 months, you probably hit 1, maybe 2 of those groups. And the reality is you could use it every month. And so last year, with our leadership of that group, Haley and Becca have done a tremendous job of building that community, making moms all over the country feel seen and heard. And it was with Owlette that I reached out to Amanda and I said, I think I have this idea that might make sense. You're trying to reach families, having babies. This specific community we know is, and could you help us offer this every month? And so that was my goal and dream. And I think it was a pretty quick yes. In my mind, that's what it sounded like. But now we're offering that pregnancy after loss virtual support group for moms every single month. So a mom doesn't have to wait 6 months, or maybe it doesn't fall within their time and it doesn't work. I'm just so grateful that we can offer a more consistent support for that very time-sensitive time, right? It's only 9 months. And so we only have so much opportunity to really support them. And so again, I'm grateful that, again, it was kind of a quick, I think, ask on my part, but also a quick yes. I don't know exactly if that's your memory too of it, but.
Oh yeah. I seriously have the best job. Sometimes I feel like Oprah, like, yes. Yeah.
You get a basket. You get a basket.
Yeah, yes. Although, it's not that simple, but if there's a project that one of our partners has that's in line with our mission to reach more babies, to support more parents, yes, this was an easy yes. And a big part of that promise, and working specifically with groups like yours that focus on that loss support, is if we are promising to reach every parent and every baby, the parenting journey is going to look different. You might just be a lost mom right now. You might be sitting in that space yearning for a baby birth side, but you didn't lose your title of mom because you don't have a baby to hold. So if we are committed to that promise of every parent, we have to sit in this space too. We want to sit in this space too and walk alongside parents. And we don't know what the outcome is going to be for these moms going through these, showing up to these support groups. But if we are going to honor that commitment, that's what this looks like. It looks like support groups. It looks like pregnancy after loss conversation. And then hopefully, a rainbow baby basket at the end of it. But we know that it doesn't look like that for everybody. And we really are committed to the promise of every parenting journey.
Yeah, you truly are advocates for every parent, whatever that looks like. And if people watching have not noticed that Ali and I are matching yet, we should probably call out these special shirts that say the clever advocate like a mother. And these were gifts from Owlette. And what I will say, you guys do an amazing job of helping all of your partners serve the communities that they serve. But you also do an amazing job of serving your partners directly. And I don't think in my entire career I've ever experienced such stewardship of a relationship, a professional relationship, the personal touch points that you intentionally make with us as your partners just makes the experience so much more meaningful because we feel seen as parents, which allows us to go out into the world and help more parents feel seen because we know what that feels like and we know the importance of it. And so I just want to give you credit for maybe something that you don't think as much about as we do, but that I think makes a huge difference in the success of these programs and partnerships as well. So thank you for always keeping us in mind as part of the community that you serve, because I know to me that has meant probably more than you would know. And I said I wasn't going to need tissues, but dang it, I have them close to me just in case. But really, truly, that is such a gift to us because, as Ali said, we are in such heavy work and the days are hard and long, and we often forget ourselves in that process that we are also grieving parents. And so to be seen and reminded that we haven't lost that title or that we still are a parent is just beautiful. So thank you.
Yeah, I would echo that too. So we opened these shirts and a few other very thoughtful gifts on Bereaved Mother's Day from Owlette. And I do remember feeling a little emotional in that moment because it was just a reminder of like, keep doing the work we're doing, right? Keep advocating. And so it was also the reminder of you see us as individuals and like you said, the titles, but also organizationally, right? Like just seeing the individual and the organization together and individually is a gift. And like you said, it's super meaningful. We feel that genuineness with every interaction, but especially those touch points. And so that was a really special gift this past May for both of us.
Yeah, I had never received anything on that day before. I don't have living children. I don't have, the rainbow baby story is not my story yet. So, and I know we have many, many parents listening who are in the same part of the journey too. So just was really, really thoughtful. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you called that out because while the Rainbow Project and group and all of that is so important, our organization does recognize that's not everybody's journey either, right? And to hear and to see those announcements are hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes triggering. So I don't want anybody to be lost on that we don't see that that's not everybody's journey. And that can be a hard space too. So like you said, we have other families in that position, but often not a voice always heard too. So I just glad you mentioned that and that we can call that out too.
Yeah, which I think also probably leads us to another really cool partnership project that I do want to talk about today too. But before we move on, did we cover how many of these baskets we've given out collectively?
Yeah, so we are approximately looking close to, at the end of this year, we will have over 50 baskets given out over the last 3 years. So started with one, added two kind of each month. I always say I can't plan the pregnancies, so they don't always go out 2 at a month, but really just finding the right families and identifying them and getting them into their hands and supporting them. And so Owlette continues to increase that at given times. And so we're really grateful to have given out those so far. Yeah.
And I know we have like a couple stories or special moments that we've all talked about as popping up in our brains as standout, reasons why this matters. So if you want to share any of those, that'd be great.
I will share. It's super fresh because it just happened this past May. But through both the Rainbow Basket and our Pregnancy After Loss group that are supported by Owlette, we had two moms that met through that space virtually. And they journeyed alongside each other. So again, when you meet in the virtual space or in person, it's not the end of the relationship. It's really just the beginning. And so moms text and call and meet for coffee outside of those groups or in between those times. And these two moms had formed a great relationship. And so much so, it led to a pretty neat story that they actually delivered their rainbow babies in 2 different hospitals, but on the same day. And even through that delivery, they were texting messages of support to each other. So a story we couldn't even dream up or plan, but really all because of our partnership together, that they found each other, that they had each other through that time. And even to the most critical moments, right, being in the hospital and still knowing that they weren't alone and that they had somebody on their side who really got all of those feelings. Both are Rainbow Baby Basket recipients as well this year. And so just a really beautiful story of this journey that can be so hard, but with our support and our partnership doesn't have to be as heavy and as hard and lonely. So that's just one that's really stuck out to me.
Yeah. Amanda, have you heard any success stories on your end or moments that stand out as far as how you guys measure success of things like this?
So yes, we hear from parents all the time that the peace of mind they get when baby's wearing the sock is just invaluable. Whether you've experienced loss or not. Like I was that nervous first-time mom that could have really benefited from it and not sleeping with the lights on. I was also a mom who had a hard time in between our 2 children. So on the flip side, our rainbow baby wore the sock, and I know I would have just been a mess without it. That peace of mind after experiencing loss was just priceless, just absolutely priceless. But really the stories I hear a lot are the ones you and Ali are talking about being seen. And I think that's just so unique to who we are. And it's the most special part of my job. And with regards to the partnership and, the gift for Bereaved Mother's Day, thank you for sharing the feedback that it was well received, because we do take so seriously our partnerships, knowing they were founded in honor of a child, in most cases, who's no longer here. And it's not transactional. It's not a transactional partnership between two businesses trying to turn a profit.
Mm-hmm.
It is really a relationship that's created in most cases out of a deep pain that most of us will never understand. And we really, really take that seriously. So I know that every interaction with No Pit Too Small happened because of the loss of a child. And I know your stories, and I know that it's not easy to do your job every day to be able to honor our parents who are willing to take their stories and turn them into purpose and into a way to help other people. That is just the most beautiful thing anybody could ever do. And when I first started working with organizations like yours, it was really easy to think, okay, this organization was founded out of sadness. And in many cases, that's true, right? But there is so much love poured into these foundations and nonprofits and the groups we work with. That's where the love goes. That's where our parents get to say their children's names every day. Our parents get to honor their kids, and we take that really, really seriously. And it's just a beautiful part of our company, our organizational culture. And I'd love to share about one of our projects that we've gotten to help grow with you. It's called Nursery of Hope, and you've talked a lot about hope and whether or not you're experiencing a subsequent pregnancy after loss. Hope is so important in the loss space.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come right away. You might only get glimpses of it, but it's so important. And we have developed what we call Nursery of Hope. So at the core of it is this initiative, this concept of planting trees in honor of babies who are no longer here. Again, that's our every baby, every parent promise. And for us, it started kind of casually. We planted a couple trees outside of our office in Lehi, Utah, with a couple organizations in honor of babies who are no longer here. And it's taken off. Two of our partners have physical park space donated by their states, where the Nursery of Hope is a real physical place where parents can go visit. Our partner organizations decorate the trees at Christmas. They decorate the trees on the child's birthday. It really is this idea of a living legacy, a place you can go and honor your child. And last year, in honor of Bereaved Mother's Day, we tried something new. We partnered with a tree company. They're based in California. They're a family business. We had a long conversation about whether or not they were the right partners, and they totally get us. They get the importance of the project, the how emotional this project is. They painstakingly go through every application and make sure that the parent's receiving the appropriate species for where they live to ensure that the tree grows. But last year, we thought, let's give away 100 seedlings on Instagram for Bereaved Mother's Day. And Bereaved Mother's Day is the weekend before Mother's Day. It's a time to honor mothers who have experienced loss. And we had more than 1,200 applications. And I was blown away. First, that something new that we tried resonated. That was exciting, right? Like, if you try something new, you want to know that it's going to stick. But on the other side of that, I was gutted. I was gutted knowing that many other people were in need of a way to honor a child that's no longer here. We didn't have more than 1,000 seedlings to give at the time. So I reached out to our Owlet Cares partners, like No Foot Too Small, and you guys rallied around and you helped us donate. I think we donated 250 at that time. But since then, in the last year, we have really invested in this program because there is a clear need for parents to have a community, to have a way to honor their little ones. And we've really invested in that promise of every parent and every baby. And we've donated more than 1,300 seedlings across the US in the last year. It's the most beautiful project. And the feedback we get is, I can't believe a brand would do this. I've never heard of something like this before. We had one mom who was the recipient of a seedling on our giveaway. And then she shared that she had actually lost twins. So we were able to gift her a second one. The feedback from this particular project is one that resonates with me and drives me the most, because whether or not there is a rainbow baby in that family's future, there was a child that's no longer here. And to get to honor that, like we do through our partnerships with organizations like yours, is just the most rewarding work.
Well, I can say I don't have a tree from your program just because my loss was many years ago, but we were gifted a tree by our friends. And so I can definitely speak to the value that has brought to me and my family for the last 12 years. And so when we, shortly after our loss, didn't know where we would bury our child, we were somewhat not newlyweds, but living in a city that we didn't know if we'd stay forever. And so that, again, one of the many things you don't prepare to plan for is, now where are we going to bury this child? And so for us at the time, we ended up burying our child, Naomi, back home with where our parents would go. And that worked out beautifully in an unplanned situation. But one of the greatest gifts at the time was that our friends came together and got a tree in her honor in the city we lived in, which we're still there now, 12 years later. And so I can speak not to every season, but to every year that we've been able to visit her tree. And I think something kind of I find comical about this is that people forget that it starts as a seedling or a stick or a twig. The friend who had gifted ours was a photographer, didn't live in the area. And she's like, send me a picture of the tree once it was planted. And I was like, oh, it's just a stick right now. It's not going to be, this beautiful picture right away. But watching it for 12 years has been truly a gift to our family. To your point, we go out there for holidays. We've decorated it in every season. We've taken family photos. And that's something I always have been in our Christmas card. If you know, it's our tree. If you don't, it's also still a beautiful photo. And so I know sometimes families like kind of subtle ways to include their losses into especially family photos. And so that's been such a gift to have. So I can just speak to what that has meant for our family. And now having living kids who are 9 and 10, how much joy they get going to visit her tree. These are memories they're making with her. And so it is such a special gift that can live forever, provide shade, provide a place we picnic, all of those things. So while mine didn't come from you, I can definitely understand that value. And with the support of you guys, we've given out over 200 to our families in the last, I think, year and a half. And we've covered 30 different states with that as well. So back to our other project, Owlet has really helped us reach new families. So we saw that through those programs and those offerings when we were able to offer that because we could do it anywhere. And also props to finding the right company, because finding the right tree in the right climate is really important. I can't tell you how many lost families get gifted a plant, a tree, flowers, and they die. And there's nothing worse already than after experiencing loss to not be able to keep this plant, this tree alive. So I just really appreciate your intentionality in finding something to see that through to the end. That is really especially critically important, and probably not easy. I'm not an expert in any kind of trees, but finding the right tree in the right climate, I'm sure takes a little time. And so I appreciate you guys finding the right partner and making those efforts to ensure that the families that receive these, that it's something that's super meaningful.
Yes, everybody that's a part of the Owlet Cares community is there for a reason. It's such a strong community. The partners help each other. It really is this beautiful space of like-minded organizations, whether or not you share in the exact same mission. It's just a group of people dedicated to making the world a better place for families and babies. And we're just lucky to be a small part of that space.
Yeah, I can relate to what you said about almost being a little bit surprised when you first tested this program, because I helped launch it last year in 2024. And that was right around the time of our Angels in the Outfield event. And if you remember back, it was rainy and kind of cold still in early May. And I thought to myself, nobody's thinking about planting things yet. Maybe we'll have to do it. I was already preparing myself. We'll have to do it again, launch it again later in the year. And when I started seeing how quickly those applications were coming through, I don't know why I was surprised, but it did surprise me, and I was just blown away. And to Ali's point, they were coming in from all over the country. And so I individually responded to every single one of those families so that I could make sure I included their angel name in that email, and that we were being intentional about why we were doing this and who it was for. And it was really neat for me because I don't often get to engage with our families as much. I'm kind of the, hey, Ali, send me their story and I'll post it on social media, or I send out the mass newsletter, things like that, where I don't get the one-on-one interactions as much. And so that was really special for me to connect with people all over the country in just a different way than I normally get to. So
2 highlights I can think of in the last year. One was a mom who shared a TikTok video of her planting the tree, and just, I don't know, the sound, the video, it just moved me to tears, but it was just neat to see somebody, we don't see that part of it, receiving it, nurturing it, having such a meaningful experience. So I thought that was just really beautifully done and shared with us. And then actually just not too long ago, a lost mom at one of our groups, as we were doing introduction, said, "Can I share my tree? I thought it was dead, but it's still alive, and look at it." And she was so proud, through the winter, how she had taken care of it. And I was very excited too, and very impressed. But it was neat to see her just so excited to share that with the group as an update, in her journey, and something that was meaningful for her. So we continue to hear just how meaningful that is to each family.
Thank you for sharing that. And like you said, Jackie, any opportunity, and at first I was really hesitant because I haven't experienced the loss of a child that had a name. That wasn't my journey. So I was really hesitant when I first entered this space in knowing the right ways to support lost parents. But I have found time and time again that any opportunity a parent has to say their child's name means so much to them. So taking that time to write the email with the child's name, I try and do that too in my work. And it's hard. It takes a lot of energy. It can take a lot of you emotionally. But I just hear that is so meaningful to parents and families to be able to hear their child's name. And No Foot Too Small does an awesome job at honoring angels.
Well, thank you for that feedback. I don't know about you, but it takes me about 20 minutes to send each individual email because I'm cross-checking 1,000 times. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to spell a name incorrectly or anything. Yeah, I have to dedicate a whole afternoon to something like that. I don't know how Ali and her team do that all the time. They're probably a lot more skilled at it, but I take it very seriously.
Well, and when you have such little, right, the name is so much, right? And there's not a lot of opportunities in loss, right? We don't send them to school and write their names on stuff. We don't hear it from other people. And so to your point, any opportunity to see or to hear, and yes, the spelling's often really important because it's a sensitive thing, right? And so the work we all do to do our best to offer something that is meaningful and unique to each family is important and is felt. So thank you for all that you have done to help us do meaningful work to families, to give them experiences that are really life-changing. We couldn't do it without partners like Owlet, so we're super grateful.
And we are grateful for you. It's been the biggest joy of my life personally, working with groups like yours. I can't imagine any other kind of work for myself. But really, and when I took the job, it seemed too good to be true. But over the last 4 years, I believe it. I mean, it's just such a part of who we are as a company, and there's nothing more important to us than walking alongside parents, no matter where they're at. And it's just a joy to get to figure out what that looks like for every organization that we work with.
One thing I didn't share and wasn't something that was on my radar, but that Owlet has done really well too, is the summit that you host each year. And that's bringing together us like-minded, if you will, organizations and nonprofits, many of them just starting sometimes, and just being able to collaborate and share, I think, amongst us. So Owlet really being the hub to bring us together, to have meaningful content for everybody who's there. And really, I guess in my experience, it's just such an open dialogue to seeing, where all these partnerships go. At least that's my perception, right? Is just getting these conversations started in a very organic, authentic, and meaningful way, so that we can all continue to support and help more. But it is really you guys being the hub and hosting a platform that's so meaningful, I would venture to say, for all of us partners. I mean, I can only speak for us, but I can see it in the interactions that happen there. So I don't know all the history of that, but I think that's an important thing that you guys are doing that maybe doesn't even get noticed, but is really meaningful.
Thanks for pointing that out. I hadn't even thought of that. So the summit started before I worked at Owlet, and really I don't think anybody knew what to expect. It was, we got to get our partners in the room. And legend has it, or the story that I have heard is, the handful of partners that we had at the time came out to Utah and sat in a room with our founders and a couple of my colleagues, and they told their stories. And there wasn't a dry eye in the room. And everybody left feeling like we need to do more. We need to do more. No parent should have to go through the loss of a child. And still, every year when we do the summit, that's how we leave feeling. We feel fired up. We feel fueled by this purpose and this deep desire to want to help more families. So each year, it's typically in October. October is SIDS Awareness Month, as well as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. So it makes sense to get our like-minded groups together during that time. And for a while, it was virtual. COVID kept us apart, and, life and other responsibilities made it challenging to coordinate schedules. But for the last 2 years, we've been able to meet in person, and that energy, that collaboration, even though you guys all have different missions, half of our organizations are focused on SIDS research, awareness, education. We have some groups that provide families with NICU care packages. We work with groups that support families of children with Down syndrome. We really have a wide variety of groups that we work with. But you get in the room and you can just feel everybody wants to make a difference. And it doesn't matter what your specific mission and vision are. There's such collaboration. There's a kindness and a passion that I've never felt in my life. We have one of our partner organizations. She's been a partner for a long time. She supports NICU families. She left last year's summit, and she was the biggest champion for SIDS research and education after hearing the stories from other partners. It's just such an invaluable time. We do workshops. Last year, we brought in some nonprofit professionals to lead grant writing workshops and strategic planning. We want you guys to feel empowered in your mission. We want you to feel supported, feel like you have the tools to reach more families. And yeah, last year's summit was just we can't ever duplicate. I mean, we'll try, but we can't duplicate that energy. And we were able for the first time last year to combine what we call our Every Baby Summit with our company offsite. So our company has gone virtual in the last couple of years, and we're only able to get together in person twice a year. And we did that last October, and we had a dinner with 12 of our partner organizations in person. And I asked each of them, will you get up and just say your name, tell us your mission, where you're from? And everyone's like, oh, yes, I'll get up in front of the entire company and do that. And 2.5 hours later, everybody was crying. And I don't say that lightly. It was beautiful. Our foundations got up. They told their stories of loss and in many cases hope. And we talked about feedback earlier that we get from parents. The feedback that I got from a lot of our colleagues was, I just feel so inspired. Like we have to do more. So really the work that we do with our Owlet Cares partners, it informs and drives so much of what we do because we really are parent focused, parent led. And there's no bigger proof of that than working with these parent-led nonprofit groups and lifting up your stories, hearing feedback from you. So really those connections and those times we have to meet in person with our partners, it fuels us in a way that no other work does.
I think you too being the hub of that is the collaboration. So this is one of our Rainbow Baby baskets, but one of the books in the basket is from another one of your partners. Again, you do a wonderful job of saying, hey, this organization has this many books to give away or is doing this campaign or whatnot, and how can we come together as a bigger voice? Or in this case, how would your organization benefit? And immediately it was like, oh yeah, it would go in the basket. It totally fits. It totally aligns with that. And so I think you do such a good job, not only keeping kind of a pulse on what everybody's doing, but in real time sharing, the work that people have done and how it can help, each other and how we can really truly collaborate again in just ways that make sense. So I think you do a great job of keeping us feeling very connected, even though we are all over the country, and really, empowering each organization and supporting them in real ways. So you do a great job of being the hub of that and continuing to evolve it and grow it, and not just doing what you've always done, right? It's always something different. It's always something that's currently happening that you're really, I think, putting your voice and support behind in a very genuine way. So it's definitely felt.
Thank you. That is the beauty of this program is there's no roadmap. We just get to meet our partner organizations where they're at and figure out what works best. And there's a lot of learning in that for us too.
You're right. There's no roadmap to any of this. So there is beauty in getting to kind of make it up right together. And, or at least I've definitely felt that. So,
yeah. Well, Owlet Cares, I can't think of a more true name for a program like this, right? Like at the heart of all of this is just that you care. And I think to wrap up our conversation, what I'd like to ask you, I, similarly to you, have been in corporate marketing type roles my whole career until now. And I have never, ever seen a program like this at a company. What advice would you give to other brands, businesses out there who know in their hearts they want to make a difference, but maybe haven't found the way to do that yet? What advice would you give to them to take action and look to making a difference?
Well, the advice I would give is, first of all, you can't force it. If it's not there, if it's not inherent top down from leadership, it's not going to work. So don't go forcing it, because your partners will they'll fish it out. I think the reason this program is so successful is because it's genuine. Really, a lot of it is listening to the parents you work with, listening to your partner organizations, not trying to force it. Ali, we talked about it really took us a couple years to find the right groove, and that willingness to partner was there with No Foot Too Small, but I think we've just found the right way to support your organization and the community you're trying to reach. So I'd say be open, have conversations, be willing to give it time, and find the projects that work for your company and lean into them. Like the Nursery of Hope, I don't think any of us expected it to take off the way that it did, but we identified a need. We've identified a community that might have otherwise not been seen or acknowledged in that way. And we're just leaning into it. So I'd say it needs to be genuine. You just can't fake that type of community, that type of commitment to making the world a better place if it's not truly there. And just be patient, give it time, be willing to listen, be willing to be humble. It's been humbling to me, learning how to talk to lost parents. A common mistake I made at the beginning was, how many kids do you have? Such a seemingly harmless question, but it can be so painful to somebody experiencing the loss of a child. So I try to say, tell me about your family. Just be willing to be humble and accept that while you might not have the experience that, a lost parent has, if you are coming to the table with true intentions and an open heart, there is an opportunity to make a difference. Just accept that you might not have all the answers right away.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. It's just that listening, right? And I think you've done that really well. And in that listening, asking great follow-up questions, right? That can give you more insight and ultimately all of us learning from that. So I think that's been truly what the partnership's been about, and starts with a lot of listening. So I think that's led us to where we've been able to grow such a great partnership.
Yeah. Holding space, I feel like is the theme just for whatever is to come. So Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today, but more importantly for the commitment that you've made to No Foot Too Small for the last few years and continue to help us push our mission forward and serve our families. And we're just so grateful for you and your whole team.
And honestly, we're grateful for you that organizations like yours exist for parents who really need it. And yeah, let's keep doing it. Let's keep Oprahing.
Let's see where the next 4 years go, right? And beyond.
I love that we just made Oprahing a verb. I'm going to carry that into the rest of my life.
I know.
No greater job.
Right. And I know the work we're doing is not quite that light, but I think both of us have a commitment and a willingness to help more families. And I see great things for our partnership.
We do too. Thank you. And thank you to all of you for tuning in to today's episode. We just want to thank Owlet again, the entire team there, for not only sponsoring this episode and helping us hold space for this conversation today, but for helping us hold space for so many of our families and their unique journeys through the grief and the joy. And we just want to celebrate today, Rainbow Baby Day. If you are a family navigating pregnancy after loss and are interested in getting plugged into one of our groups that Ali talked about today, we'll include all of the information there in the show notes for you. If you're interested in just learning more about No Foot Too Small or potentially sponsoring a future episode, just reach out to us at nofoottosmall.org. We'll catch you at the next episode.